Welcome back to Switching to Rayon from your legacy CAD software. This 3-part tutorial series is meant to help you transition smoothly from your current CAD software into Rayon. In the previous tutorial, we've learned how to import your DWG into the Rayon environment. In this tutorial, we're going to learn more deeply about how to edit it and how editing concepts transform from other tools like AutoCAD into Rayon. So after we learned how to organize our file and import its layers, its CAD blocks, and more, we're now ready to refine it, edit it, stylize it, and take it to the next step. We're going to focus on 3 main areas. First is drawing and editing. We'll learn how to use Rayon's editing and drawing tools to edit our vector drawing and apply Rayon's LightBIM tools, which we'll talk about a bit more. We'll also learn how to stylize your drawing, enabling you to add textures, line weights, colors, gradients, and a richer stack of stylizing tools onto your drawing. Last but not least, we'll talk about CAD blocks. So in the previous tutorial, we learned how your CAD blocks translate from your DWG file into Rayon, but Rayon offers an array of other CAD block options. You can use Rayon's CAD block library, you can generate CAD blocks with AI, you can use Rayon's Parametric CAD blocks. We'll also touch upon adding metadata onto your CAD blocks. So with no further ado, let's dive in. All right, so we're back in the model that we created in the last tutorial where we imported a DWG file into Rayon. And you'll see that this DWG file is vector line based. So the first thing I want to discuss today is how you would edit and draw either in AutoCAD's classic way of drawing, which is with vector lines, or in what we call LightBIM features using Rayon. So I'm just going to zoom in on our floor plan and show you kind of the basics. All the lines that we've imported are vector lines. If you double click a line, you'll see that it has vertices, which can then be either removed or you can add upon vertices in your lines. Basically what you know from the vector experience. The vector line drawing toolkit is down here. You'll find here polylines, lines, rectangles, everything you need to draw in a vector style. We can quickly place a rectangle here as an example. And then when you're ready to edit these, you can use the classic CAD commands, which will apply on the vector lines, like offset, trim, array, divide, break, and so on and so forth. So one of the options you have in your file is to just quickly dive in there and start redesigning and editing it, deleting the vector lines that you have in place. Select these for now too. And then you can either, build upon the lines that you have, let's say this one, or grab new lines or offset them or so on and so forth. If you happen to miss the last tutorial, I just want to quickly show you that you can do this in the rendered mode that we are in right now, or the wireframe mode if you prefer that. You can set your units right here to millimeters, centimeters, imperial or metric system, and your snapping, so don't forget to customize those. And something else you may want to customize is in the preferences, not the wireframe or grid mode, rather the command lines. So if you are coming from AutoCAD and you do want to continue using the same shortcuts or command line options, you can set your settings down here. In command mode, you'd have shortcuts or command line. And in the shortcut set, you can either leave the Rayon default shortcuts or change to AutoCAD shortcuts. So just some useful tools to keep in mind. And now that we've established that and the fact that you can use the vector lines to draw, I want to also introduce to you the LightBIM features that we have in Rayon to help you draw faster, basically. So you saw how I just drew these walls with 2 lines, either with offsetting or drawing new lines. In Rayon, we also have what we call a wall tool. So let me just quickly delete these lines right here and show you the wall tool down here. Basically, this is the stack of LightBIM tools. I'll grab a wall and you'll see that the wall is basically a wall entity. So it's not just 2 lines, but it actually is a wall entity that has a thickness that I can then move across my drawing. I can change its values right here. So right now it's a wall of 10 centimeters. We can make this, 20 or whichever we'd like. And we can also change its style, which we're going to elaborate about in just a bit. For now, let me make this just black so it's easy for us to kind of see and place. The difference between the Rayon wall, the LightBIM wall, and the vector lines that can draw walls or anything else is their reactivity to other tools in Rayon. So you see that this wall we just drew here is actually, again, an entity you can kind of like drag and drop as a whole. You can shorten it as one element, and you can change its settings like we just did. So its thickness, its fill, and such. And on top of that, it has some other extra features which can be found here. Wall enclosures will react to Rayon openings. So I just clicked on the opening tool. I'm going to quickly grab a door and place that in my canvas. And you'll see that this will punch a hole directly in this wall. If I try to place this in a wall that I've imported, a vector line wall, it won't react, which just means I'll have to use, the trim command with the same workflow you know from AutoCAD. But since the goal is to make drawing experience a bit faster for you, you should or may like to consider to redraw your drawing with the wall tool. Other than hosting a door, placing a wall enclosure that is closed will let you add a zone directly with one click to a room. So for now, since we have vector line walls, if we were to choose the zone tool, we'd have to kind of retrace it like I'm just doing right now. Retrace the area which we want to, call a zone and have an automatic square meter count for. Let me delete this and show you how this would work if we had placed walls instead of using vector walls. So I'm going to grab this wall tool again. It already has the properties from last time. And I can use shortcut S to change its center line direction. And let's just quickly, for now, override this drawing with it. Now, once I grab the zone tool, you see it will detect the shape automatically. So with one click, it will recognize the shape of this wall enclosure and give me the square meter count. And if I decide to move this wall along the way, you see that the zone tag reacts accordingly. You can then use other things like the zone divider. So let's say that we want, this area to be considered as kind of a, lounge, and this one is kind of an entrance. We can then place two zones in one open space. So just off the bat, we realized what are the differences between using the vector line logic, like the one you know from AutoCAD, which will apply in Rayon as well, or using Rayon's LightBIM tools for retracing your drawing with walls and adding smart zones. Rayon is super open-ended, so it's really up to you to decide what makes more sense for the specific project you're working on. Now let's talk about how styles work in Rayon versus how they worked in AutoCAD or other design tools. So using AutoCAD, you would typically have a style for your model. So this would be in wireframe mode, and it will be the color assigned to each layer. For example, here we see all these, magenta, pinks, yellow, and so on and so forth. And when we go to the layer panel, we'll see that each style has a color indicating what's associated to that layer. On top of that, for exporting, AutoCAD will have a layout style logic, which means that you'd have a CTB system of stroke widths and colors that you would apply on your PDF export. In Rayon, this works differently. So first of all, the advantage of working in Rayon is that you can go back and forth between wireframe to rendered mode, and you can actually see your drawing as it will be exported as you're going along and designing, which helps you, make design decisions, prepare your client presentation, so you're not working in parallel, but actually in an all-in-one experience. The style library is down here, and this is where your model's styles are saved. So they're not associated with layers, they're associated with entities. And we can see that we've already inherited in our DWG some of the styles that were set up in AutoCAD in the original file. So you can either start changing these existing styles or creating new ones. So if I jump here into, closer into this model and select, let's say, a wall type, for example, I can kind of go ahead and right click it and maybe select similar and select anything that's carrying the same style, which in this case is the wall enclosure. And I can go ahead to the style panel that lives here on the right and do things like change the stroke width, give it a fill, change its color. Let's do, for example, a thicker stroke width so we can see it pop out on this drawing a bit more. There you go. That's maybe a bit just too much, but good enough for the example here. And we can also give it, instead of black, maybe a gray color and refine it a bit. We could even go much lighter if we wanted. So this is where you can kind of set up the settings of existing styles and select things that are saved in batch. You can then also save a style. So let's say that I want to save this style right now. I can go ahead and click on the plus button and name it. Let's call it vector walls and save. This means that the next time if I want to change anything in these style type, I don't have to select all first. I can just go ahead and edit the style, change its color, and it will change across, as you can see. So in other words, it's easy to edit the styles that already exist in your drawing, and it's easy to apply new styles to new entities you drew. If we go back to this wall enclosure we drew here, we can see how we can change these walls style as well. I'm just going to do the same, select similar style, go down here. In this case, we can maybe give this wall a hatch. And you'll see here that we have a vast option of in-app libraries. So this can be hatch libraries like the one that you see here. We can save them and edit them within Rayon itself. So for example, if I go down here, change the scale to maybe 1 to 3, change the color. I can also do this for the stroke or add a background to this wall. And once I land on a style that I like, again, I can save it as I did before. I'd usually, give it a specific name. So interior gypsum, exterior concrete, up to you to decide. And this was basically what's going to be the building blocks of my style libraries. So you can see here that I can find the libraries that I've created right here. And just to go full circle, we saw how we can change a stroke style. We saw how we can change a wall style. You can also do this for surfaces and texts. So if you want to add specific, fonts or sizes or colors to a text, you can select the text and do that here. And same goes for surfaces. For surfaces, I'll just show you the rest of the fills. So we talked about solid fills, of course, any color you'd need. We have gradients in Rayon as well. Hatches we saw already, and then we also have in-app realistic textures. So tiles, concrete, grass, you name it, we have it here. And you can actually also import a specific tile or bespoke material if you want to create a realistic design. So in this case, we can just leave this one. And you may remember from the last tutorial that Rayon's layers are occlusion based, meaning that this zone that we just changed the style of is on the top of the layer panel. That's why it's hiding anything underneath it. So we can just go ahead and send that to the back. So slowly but surely, once you start editing the style of your drawing, you can get to something a bit more developed, maybe like this drawing we have here, where you really add refined textures, refined colors, and save each of these styles onto your drawing. So you can see here we have like specific colors for our lighting plan or wooden floor. And then once you have these style in sync, let's check out the style library here in this model. You can actually share it as a style library. This means that you don't have to start building your styles from scratch each time you start a new project. You can simply share your styles as a library so that when you create a new model, you can actually apply them right away. All you have to do is go to the Share button, the Libraries panel, and publish the styles. To learn more about this, I encourage you to go to the links in the description and read a bit more. It's super simple, but just so you know, this is how you can actually set up a robust structure. So we basically talked about how you can edit the style of your imported drawing, either by using the styles that you've inherited or creating new ones, creating a style library, and even publishing it to be reused from your next projects. In the next tutorial, we're going to talk more about how stroke width works in Rayon and how you can set stroke widths according to the scale of your exported drawing. So stay tuned for that. And for this tutorial, the last topic we're going to discuss is a deeper dive into CAD blocks and how they act in Rayon. So let's go back to our imported drawing and start checking this out. All right, so if you're using AutoCAD or other CAD software, you know that you have to pretty much source your own DWG blocks online or create them yourself and then import them into your drawing individually. You may start with a template that contains a lot of CAD blocks and have your own method. But in Rayon, we strive to make this way more streamlined for you, and that's why there is an in-app block library. You can find it right here. And as we saw before in a sneak peek, when you import a DWG file, it's actually going to inherit all the blocks that you have. So if you imported a file that contains blocks, they will appear. And the same goes for if you're trying to create or import your own CAD block library into Rayon. It's really simple. You only have to import it, and Rayon will recognize your blocks as blocks. So this is just the first thing that you have to note. Of course, you can also draw blocks in Rayon and create blocks as you do in AutoCAD. But here's where the more efficient part starts. If you go to the Find Blocks tab right here, you're going to have access to 10,000 blocks in front, side, and top views for sections, elevations, and floor plans. You can see here, if we just review the panel, that you have a search bar to search for blocks according to keywords. You have the different representations of all the blocks here for easy navigation. And then here you have some filtering logic where you can logic blocks that you want to find. And this is where you're going to see the blocks or library options. So you can either search individually or according to libraries. I've just clicked on the libraries to show you how the library logic works in Rayon. So again, instead of sourcing these individually and starting from scratch for each project, you can create your custom block libraries. In my case, this is my personal one. I have some, 3 DWGs I've brought in or other. Then I have organization libraries, the ones that I share with my teammates. So you can standardize your block management across your team. And then here are the Rayon blocks we talked about. Scrolling through, you'll see, the amount that we have here, anything from commercial to residential, little accessories, all the way to technical symbols, you name it, it's here. So basically, once I, search for a specific item, let's just bring in a lounge for this example. I'll click in lounge, I'll get different configurations, and I can then drag and drop them, and they're going to already be to scale in Rayon, which is another nice thing. In AutoCAD, sometimes you bring in a file and you don't really know the scale, and this can sometimes lead to misalignment. So here you can be reassured that your drawing is to scale. And then if we just zoom into our living room here, you see that typically the CAD blocks that you import are vector lines that don't have a fill, so you kind of see the texture beneath them. So it may just be, a quick fix and easier to work with the Rayon blocks that already have a fill to redesign this room, right? All the blocks are editable, so you can actually double click this to change its location, delete, add. Maybe we even want to replicate this block. So copy it and have it on the other side as well. The other thing to note about these blocks is if you've already assigned a block and placed it on your drawing, you can then fetch its representation in top and side view very easily by going to its definition right here. And then here you can see its representation in front and side views. So if you were to draw a section, you could just flip this very easily. There you go. I'm just going to undo that, and let's say that this is how we're happy with this room for now. A bit random, but just for the sake of this example, it's fine. The other type of block I want to show you is parametric blocks. So some of Rayon's blocks are parametric, meaning that you can kind of stretch them according to the dimension you want. I just grabbed this door as an example. We placed this one before, and let me fetch a few more. So if I go to Find Blocks, in this case, I'll just type in Parametric, and there you go. Any of the parametric blocks that we have in Rayon will appear. You can recognize them by the symbol that indicates that they're parametric, and you see anything from openings, doors, staircases. We're working on creating even more parametric blocks, but for now, these are the ones that you're going to find in the block library. And as you can see here, again, if I kind of stretch this, it will change proportionally. So yeah, maybe we can replace this with this and start playing with our space. If you have parametric blocks that you built in AutoCAD as DWG files and you want to bring them into Rayon, I'm going to refer you to the link in the description, which will teach you how parametric blocks kind of convert. Another fun option we have for CAD blocks in Rayon is AI CAD Block Gen. You're going to find the different CAD commands here in the bottom toolbar. I'll just open the chevron to see the different options you have. This is for another tutorial topic, but all the different AI options. One of these is generate block. So if I click on generate block, I'll get this kind of prompt telling me to describe a block I want to create in words or select an image. Let's quickly bring an image in. And once I've imported this image, it's added to my prompt right here, and we can simply submit. Rayon is now going to create this block in top, front, and side views. So it's just a really great way to create blocks of specific items you want to portray, which you don't have in the block library already. We can put this on the side while continuing to work, essentially. And the one thing that we will find that with CAD block gen, the block that's generated is a vector-based CAD block with no fill. So we want to maybe add its styles so we can place it on the canvas and have this background like we do here. We can go ahead and insert block. Let's delete the photo and bring in this chair. Once you've curated a bunch of blocks that you like, either found your favorite from the Rayon block library or imported the blocks that you've used so far, you can create your custom block libraries like I did here, and then basically drag and drop them into any of your models that you're working in. So just as an example, remember how I have my personal blocks here. The way I published a block is from within a model. So basically you can either create an empty model, just drag all your blocks in there and then publish it, or you can base it on an existing drawing where you want to use the block it contains. You can go to the share button, and here, similar to how we did with styles before, I'll go to libraries and I can toggle on publish blocks. Basically, the name of my block library will be the same name of my model, so I'd usually want to kind of update the name to indicate it's a library, and that's it. You're ready to drag and drop all the blocks from this project in any of your other projects. The last thing I want to say about blocks is that in Rayon, you can add metadata properties onto elements like surfaces or walls, and blocks, of course. So I'm not going to deep dive into this topic. For that, you have a link in our description. But basically, I want to show you that once you select a block, it has an instance property right here. So this can be assigned either from the block instance on the canvas or directly from a block that's in my block library. And we have some default Rayon categories like view, standard, canvas, and such. On top of those, you can create whichever properties you'd like. Typically, these would be things like cost, brand, material, you name it. And these are the types that you can create. Price, yes, no, image. You can add links and images onto blocks. The end game here is adding custom properties onto blocks to then create scheduling, FF&E, and other types of tables really fast with a few clicks. So if I just jump to another model to show you a quick example, you'll see this model here, and let's click on a block that has some custom properties set to it. I've added to this bed brand, material, price. All of these are overridable. And once I add information onto blocks directly from the library, it will always contain it as I drag and drop my blocks, making it really easy to make tables. The table tool is down here, and basically it will contain all the information about surfaces or blocks with just a few clicks and stay aligned. So it's synced between your drawing and your table. Where I'll stop at this topic, just to indicate and give you the idea that this is another feature that Rayon allows you for centralizing your work and streamlining it. All right, that's a wrap for the second tutorial out of our Switching to Rayon from Legacy Software series. You should now know how to edit, draw, and design using Rayon's classic CAD commands and LightBIM tools. You should be comfortable with stylizing your drawing and using Rayon's CAD block options. The last tutorial of this series, the next one, is going to be all about how to export your work at scale, share it with other stakeholders, collaborate in real time, and set yourself up for the next projects by building reusable templates and libraries. If you're looking to learn more about any of the concepts we've covered so far, feel free to go to the links in the description where you'll find our documentation, our full tutorial series, and our community link where you can interact and ask questions. See you in the next one.